HenryAuctioneers.com.
You're watching Good Morning Basin on ABC Big 2.
Now at 5, it's one of the busiest travel days of the year. We have what you need to know before hitting the road.
Plus a warning from our local airport why you'll need to get to the airport earlier than normal.
Then one local business is saying goodbye to its loyal customers. Find out how you can lend them a hand.
Well, good morning, Basin. I'm Matt Fonts.
And I'm Samantha Smrechniak. Thank you for joining us on this Wednesday. And yeah, a very busy day. A lot of people preparing for tomorrow. You're flying out to Florida today.
I am flying out tonight, so hopefully I beat like the midday rush, but also flying later in the day. I'm a little scared because you have more time for delays, things like that going on. It's going to be a busy day out there, Thanksgiving Eve.
Yeah, so we'll get to more on what you need to know if you're traveling today. But first, let's check in with our meteorologist, Ryan DePhillips. And Ryan, we are excited for all the holiday festivities.
Absolutely.
And how's it going to be looking out there for people this morning getting stuff done?
It's going to be a little foggy. Now, this time, at least, it's not going to be as chilly. Now, we were in the 20s and 30s. Combine that with fog yesterday morning. That's how we got freezing fog. Now, this morning, again, we're seeing a lot of the clouds, low-level clouds, and also high-level clouds, but temperatures starting off in the 40s. So much milder start, a little bit more in the way of sunshine later today. Temperatures warming up from the high 30s and 40s, even some areas in the lower 50s, eventually into the 60s for many locations. Average high, 64. It's been a while since we've been at or slightly above normal, and look at that, 66 degrees today. That's my forecast high, so we may be slightly above normal in terms of those temperatures for this time of year. Low temperatures in the 40s will be a little bit above normal for this time of year. While temperatures are going to be higher today than yesterday, I'll be tracking, again, 50s and 60s this afternoon, and lower 70s, but 30s and 40s returning overnight. Back to you guys.
You're taking a live look outside right now. This is I-20 and JBS Parkway, and yeah, you can see that fog that Ryan was talking about out there. Another day with kind of reduced visibility early in the morning, but it doesn't look like there's too much traffic out there on the roadways, so that is some good news. And we've been talking about it all week long, but Thanksgiving travel is really picking up today. AAA says if you haven't left already, be prepared for some traffic.
We really look at the time frame from Wednesday to Sunday. That's usually the busiest. So if folks do have an opportunity to head out a little bit earlier than that, then of course, you know, you're more than likely going to avoid the heaviest of traffic. Although, again, even starting today on Tuesday toward the afternoon, especially in your major metro areas, that traffic is going to be picking up.
We've been traveling a lot at night, so it hasn't really been that difficult getting through the cities. And we've been traveling the long distance, so we've been traveling for a long time on one strip of road, and the traffic really hasn't been that bad.
Now, hopefully traveling through West Texas shouldn't be too terrible. AAA says 4 million Texans are going to travel 50 miles or more this year for Thanksgiving. And now to the skies. Midland International has a warning for you this morning.
The city of Midland sent out an alert for anyone that's headed to our local airport. The city said in addition to the holiday travel surge, the TSA suffered an equipment failure yesterday. Now the Midland International Air and Spaceport is asking everyone to arrive at least 2 hours before their flight time. Leaders at the airport also said to please expect extended wait times at the security checkpoints.
It was kind of getting started to get pretty busy. Pretty uneventful. Not the airports are not too packed. So.
Didn't have any trouble getting here. With today being cheaper, I decided to fly out to today. So I flew out Saturday to today rather than through Thanksgiving because of the cost.
I got here a little earlier than I normally would. Ready to wait in line. I do expect it to be pretty busy, obviously, because the holiday coming up.
And it's not just West Texas that's seeing a lot of people fly. There were backups reported in Houston all day yesterday as well as this morning. In Houston alone, TSA is expecting 2.3 million people to travel through its terminals.
When it comes to Thanksgiving holiday travel, Houston Airports is seeing a larger crowd than it did in 2019. We're expecting to welcome close to 2.3 million passengers over the extended holiday travel season. This is expected to exceed the numbers we saw before the COVID-19 pandemic in 2019.
And across the U.S., 55 million people are expected to fly to their holiday destinations. Now, this all comes after a summer filled with delays and cancellations.
ABC's Gio Benitez has a look at how holiday travel is going across the entire country.
The start of the busiest stretch of travel for American families in years.
Things were a little bit hectic down in D.C. The airport was certainly full.
Airports packed from New York's LaGuardia to Minneapolis and Cincinnati. That's in spite of higher ticket prices, 43% higher than last year, according to Hopper. Chicago's O'Hare is the home of United Airlines.
This is the bridge.
We went inside United's command center, tracking every flight's every move on the busiest day of the year. We asked Joe Hines, the man in charge, about those staffing issues across the airline industry and the problems that were blamed on weather this summer.
We know this past summer we saw a lot of weather challenges with the airlines.
Yes.
Were there lessons learned during that time?
Well, certainly the biggest lessons learned were around resources. We did learn that you cannot overschedule your crews and you cannot overschedule your airplanes.
And while today is the busiest day to fly before Thanksgiving, tomorrow, Wednesday, is the busiest day to drive.
In fact, it's going to be up about 43% higher than normal traffic on Wednesday.
Gas prices down 17 cents in the past month, but still high, as our Trevor Alt explains.
49 million Americans will be driving this Thanksgiving, and while gas is getting cheaper, it is still expensive. AAA says the national average, $3.63 a gallon, the highest Thanksgiving week prices since they started tracking it.
But tonight, the urge to gather taking center stage.
Now, in order to help some of those delays and cancellations, many airlines are considering single pilot flights.
The idea is being heavily pushed as a way to save money and alleviate the pilot shortage. But as our Marky Martin reports, not everyone is on board.
It's the latest effort by airlines to cut costs and ease staffing shortages, shrinking commercial cockpits down to one pilot. This after COVID all but decimated the industry, igniting waves of unrest, not only by flight crews protesting grueling working conditions, but from passengers as well.
We have a crisis when it comes to airline travel. We have a pilot shortage, and those who say we don't, well, they're just full of it.
The pitch is gaining international steam, with more than 40 countries, including Germany, the UK, and New Zealand, asking the United Nations body that sets aviation standards to make single-pilot flights a safe reality. But it's a hard sell for those actually behind the controls.
Well, it shouldn't be any surprise. They're looking at saving money, and we're looking at saving lives.
Captain Dennis Tager has been with American Airlines for more than 30 years. He says having a partner for safe decision-making is at the core of what they do, especially in emergency situations.
It could be a passenger disruption while in flight. It could be the weather, a major system malfunction like an engine fire, low visibility approaches. The bottom line is eye-to-eye, soul-to-soul contact is what is going to make the difference in these scenarios.
And aviation consultant Colonel Jay Joseph, who flew for U.S. Airways, agrees, adding it'll be tough to get passengers on board too.
The ramifications, the downside to it are so far-reaching. You'd never be able to find a panacea that I think you'd be able to get the general traveling public on board with.
Aviation attorney and pilot Timothy Loringer telling News Nation he sees no path forward here for single pilot flights.
It's very important to create an environment where people feel safe. My gut tells me that the FAA and other governmental agencies would be very hard pressed to approve something like this.
And you can stay up to date on this story and all of the holiday travel rush right now on yourbasin.com.
Now to an update on a local business that's closing up shop pretty soon. Twice Around Thrift Store in Midland will close its doors to the public at the end of the month. With Thanksgiving approaching, the owners say that they've been thankful since day one for all of their customers and the unwavering support.
ABC Big 2's Rob Took sat down with the owners of Twice Around Thrift Store who say it's time to move on.
Happy Thanksgiving! It's a family affair at Twice Around Thrift Store in downtown Midland. For store owner Seth Caples and his family, it's been a labor of love for the last 3 years.
I've had a lot of employees, but the family has always stayed, you know, and there's a reason for that. That's because we work great together.
Inside, it's thrifting at its finest. Customers casually shop for discounted deals. Some proceeds are donated to nonprofits like the Genesis Center, which provides shelter to those seeking refuge. The store often donates clothes. Seth knows running a thrift store isn't all that lucrative, but it is a business that allows his family to continue serving their Midland community.
When I realized that I could make money while also making the place that I live in a better place, I jumped on it. It was a no-brainer.
2 months ago, on September 12th, the store's operations came to a crashing halt, quite literally. A City of Midland truck plowed into the storefront. Thankfully, no one got hurt, but countless items and store displays were destroyed. The city gave the store an insurance claim form, which has been submitted.
And now it's a waiting game, waiting on them. Ball's in their court. We'll move on from there. We'll pick up the pieces and move on.
As they wait for the claim to be processed, family and friends dug deep into their own pockets to help Twice Around clean up and patch up. The building itself will still need repairs. Money and the bottom line have been significant factors for too long now. During the pandemic, the store saw red. Enough was made to keep the lights on, but after the recent crash, Seth realized something.
Been a blessing in disguise in that it's forced me to reassess my situation.
As one door closes, another door opens. Seth is moving his family to a special place in Hill Country, where they plan to continue serving their community. Twice Around Thrift Store is closing on November 30th. And before the lights turn off one last time, Seth wants to say thanks.
My customers that came pouring in, just their kind words, crazy how much it really just pulled us out of a funk, you know. And there's nothing I could say to thank them enough, really.
Very unfortunate situation. A lot of people are going to miss that store as well.
I know, yeah, it's done such great things for the community, and it was a really cool shop to just go to as well. So guys, be sure to head out there while it's still open.
Yeah, customers will have a chance to say their final goodbyes.
Before Twice Around Thrift Store closes next Wednesday, all items more than $1 are going to be half off. That's except for clothes.
Coming up on Good Morning Basin, you're taking a live look in New York City this morning, where major retailers are getting ready for the holidays. We'll show you how.
Plus, why more Americans are eating out this Thanksgiving.
And despite it being another foggy morning across the basin, a much warmer morning. 46 degrees right now in the tall city, 18 degrees warmer than 24 hours ago. And despite the fog and morning clouds, a little bit more in the way of sunshine today with high temperatures. But I'll be tracking another cool down just in time for Thanksgiving Day.
And as we head to break, a reminder that if you see news happening, share your videos and photos on social media with us. Make sure you use the hashtag ABC Big 2 News.
And if you haven't done it yet, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We are ABC Big 2 News.
A remarkable woman.
Remarkable stories from across the country.
I want to inspire women.
We recognized extraordinary efforts, celebrated incredible accomplishments.
There is one finalist from each region, and those compete for the title of Remarkable Women.
See who will take home this year's title and be honored in Hollywood.
Please go to yourbasin.com/remarkable women and nominate a tireless changemaker in your community. ABC Big 2 and Occasions Fine Jewelry celebrate all the remarkable women in our lives.
Dance into the holiday season
with a little Disney magic.
With special performances by Run DMC, Meghan Trainor, Black Eyed Peas, Neo, and more.
Let's go!
Disney's magical holiday celebration, Sunday on ABC.
Looking to buy or sell gold or silver coins? Bullion or U.S. paper money? There's no better place than Preacher Bill's Coins and Wild West Hobbies and Coins. Visit us today at 1004 West Front Street in Midland.
Surprise!
It's a new Buick.
Got me a new Buick?
Oh, and there are more gifts inside.
You got me the head-up display.
Heated steering wheel, the massaging seat.
Okay, what next?
Alexa, turn on holiday lights.
This year, give the gift of technology in every Buick SUV.
Get 3.99% APR for 72 months and no monthly payments until 2023 on these Buick SUV models. Visit your Permian Basin Buick dealer.
Toyotathon is on. Now's the time to get an exciting new Toyota. Like Camry Hybrid, RAV4, Tundra, and more.
Wow. What's next? I knew I was forgetting something. She's a wizard.
Toyota. Let's go places. Your all-time country favorites, Kicks 99.1. The big money dollar bill game is back and better than ever.
We're talking money.
Look for dollar bills with 991 in the serial number. Listen to Big D Bubba at 6:20 and 7:20 in the morning. 5 plays every weekday to stretch your $1 bills into 100, 1,000, even $10,000 cash.
This is Linda from Stanton. I stretched a $1 bill into $10,000.
From your all-time country favorites, Kicks 99.1.
Weekdays at 5, 6, and 10 p.m. with Chief Meteorologist Chase Menendez. And now, your local Weather Authority forecast.
It's another morning of very low visibility across the basin, including the Tall City. This is a live look on your Wednesday morning. We still have that night vision on the sky tracker. The sun has not risen yet, but we do notice a lot of milkiness in the sky, very low visibility and haziness along the horizon looking towards the south. So make sure you guys exercise caution. If you guys are traveling this morning, travel slowly, safely. Make sure you guys have enough time to get to wherever you guys may need to go. Now, we're not only seeing low-level clouds, but higher-level clouds approaching from the south and west, moving towards the east-northeast into the basin. And we do notice that low-level moisture from the Gulf of Mexico feeding into the eastern basin in the form of light to moderate rain showers in Dallas and Fort Worth. Now, this time, we're not seeing any snow or not much in the way of any freezing fog because it's a much milder morning. So despite the misty conditions and the foggy conditions this morning, it's a much milder morning, as we do notice that we have some low-level clouds moving into the eastern basin. But what's more apparent on the satellite and radar is the west to east moving high-level clouds, thick clouds at that. And that's going to be the big story today. Very cloudy and misty morning. A milder morning. Temperatures are going to warm up even more as that sunshine starts to creep back in from the south and west into the east-northeast. So certainly good news on that front. 18 degrees warmer than 24 hours ago in the Tall City. 46 right now. I think we'll be right around the 47 degrees at 8 a.m. with patchy fog. The stronger winds at the surface, not allowing that fog to quite reach the surface, but just enough to, and again, be about 10, 20, 30 feet above the surface. So again, make sure you guys travel slowly this morning, but as those temperatures warm up, the southwesterly winds pick up, drier and warmer with clearer skies later today, warming up into the mid to upper 60s. Temperatures maybe slightly above normal average high, right around 64. I think we'll reach 66 degrees today in the Tall City with mostly clear skies later this evening, but breezy conditions at times. Again, not as many dark blues indicate temperatures in the high 30s and 40s, even lower 50s near Big Spring this morning. A very mild morning compared to what we have been seeing. Temperatures, again, warming up in the 60s, even some areas in the lower 70s near Pecos, the Rio Grande, mid to upper 60s even in Midland and Odessa, just like Marfa and Alpine before. Cooler weather arrives from west to east, another cold front coming through, spilling in colder air in the basin, 30s and 40s as we head later tonight and into early tomorrow morning. So we got that new moon out there. You're not really going to be able to see that new moon because of more clouds back and the increased low temperatures in the 40s. Those winds out of the west, switching more from the northwest later overnight tonight, right around 10 to 20 miles per hour. And for Thanksgiving Day itself, a much cooler day, warming up to only 56. Low temperature early in the morning at 39 degrees. So from chilly to cool conditions throughout the day today, becoming breezy as well. Now, the cooler weather on Thanksgiving is going to set the stage for a potential winter storm that we really got to watch out for on Friday before milder and drier weather returns this weekend.
Thanks, Ryan. Taking a live look for you at Loop 250 and Midland Drive. A decent amount of cars out there on the roadways this morning, so if you are heading out that way, traffic seems to be moving along pretty nicely for your morning commute. Well, Krispy Kreme introduces new holiday donuts, and most large department stores and specialty retailers are closed for Thanksgiving, but there are still shopping options.
Yeah, Jane King is at the NASDAQ with those stories and more in today's Morning Business Report.
Good morning. Don't plan on doing much in-person bargain hunting on Thanksgiving as years past. Many major retailers will shut their brick-and-mortar stores tomorrow. Now, stores closed on Thanksgiving Day include Walmart, Costco, and Target. Most department stores will be closed as well. If you do need to shop in a store, you can find CVS, Dollar General, and most grocery stores open. Well, $500 Walmart store credit offer on Facebook posts is a scam. Facebook is posting about this winning a $500 store credit or a Walmart credit, they're not legitimate offers from Walmart, according to the company. Now, cybersecurity experts and police say be extra suspicious this time of year for retail scams, especially on social media. Well, the Dow closed nearly 400 points higher yesterday as Wall Street bets on easing inflation. The Federal Reserve meets in December and is expected to raise rates by a smaller 0.5%. The Biden administration is extending a pause on federal student loan payments till June. Legal challenges have halted President Biden's plan to forgive up to $20,000 in student debt for many borrowers. Biden says it's not fair for people to make the payments while still being litigated. And Krispy Kreme will introduce 3 new holiday donuts along with its Santa's Bake Shop collection. The donut maker announcing sugar cookie, gingerbread cookie crumb, and red velvet cake donuts. The Santa Belly donut and the chocolate ice with holiday sprinkles are also part of the collection, which will start on Friday. From the NASDAQ market site, I'm Jane King with your morning business report.
Oh, I wish we had Krispy Kreme here.
I know, right? We always talk about that. We always run stories on it, but we don't have one here.
I know. We need to campaign to bring one here. Well, all over the country this week, a lot of Americans are heading home only to head out for Thanksgiving dinner.
While there are cooks still working to serve up a feast, many others have already made reservations. Here's our Nancy Liu with more.
With the price of turkey alone up by more than 20% this year, a full Thanksgiving plate for $20 at restaurants like Jackson's in Las Vegas will soon have it stuffed with Thanksgiving customers.
Inflation, the supply chain, getting the food in, everything like that, people wanting to be with family and not spending time away from them in the kitchen.
Americans who haven't already made reservations are cooking up menu hacks. According to one recent survey, 45% of consumers are ordering an entire Thanksgiving meal or various side dishes for pickup. Restaurant researchers are noticing this new tradition.
There isn't a social stigma anymore, and people are fine and they're understanding if you're going to pick up your side or your dessert or even a full meal somewhere else. And for a lot of people, it just tastes better when a restaurant does it.
More and more Americans are thankful for restaurant chefs like Vic Casanova. At the Ray Hotel in Florida, Thanksgiving reservations are up by 120%.
The people are really coming out this year, and we expect that there's going to be more Thanksgiving celebrations celebrated in restaurants than at home than years past.
While dining out is usually more expensive overall, many value the savings in time, effort, and cleanup.
A lot easier. You don't spend days preparing and cleaning and cooking. You prepare, you shop, you clean, you cook. Everybody sits down and eats and then walks away.
It's a lot of work. So what we're offering is the opportunity to sit down with your family and friends and let us take care of you.
It definitely is the easier option. Open Table reports a sharp increase in reservations in general, which mirrors a study by the National Restaurant Association.
The industry is anticipating more people dining out through the holiday season as well. Coming up, we're getting a look at all of the top toys your kids will be asking for this Christmas.
Plus, if you're looking for last-minute goodies or gifts, you may be out of luck. We'll tell you what stores will have their doors open this week after the break.
Wonderful adventures are coming, it's true. And a bright future awaits only you. Raise your hand if you want to be a teacher.
January Auctioneers has another big 2-day public auction live and virtual online Tuesday and Wednesday, December 13th and 14th at 9 a.m. If you have big trucks, trailers, construction machinery, or oil field equipment, call us today to consign, guarantee, or write you a check. Let Machinery put your truck and equipment out to the worldwide market. Call us 563-6230 or go to machineryauctioneers.com.
This is Todd. And this is Sarah.
She's leaving for Paris.
But this isn't your classic holiday rom-com. It's a Nissan Avantage. Seriously? Featuring the Nissan Rogue. And more standard power than a CR-V.
This is a love emergency.
Don't let true love or these offers get away.
Make no payments until February 2023 on Rogue.
The The votes are in,
This is News Nation's special coverage of the midterm election.
and viewers choose News Nation.
Local perspective all night. That's the key to understand. I'm joined tonight by Leland Bitter.
Right now, we really don't know who's going to control the House of Representatives.
Political editor Chris Stirewalt. I am so proud of voters tonight who are thinking like Americans and not partisan.
More people are discovering News Nation.
Democracy wins.
See why News Nation is news for all America.
It's the role that will have everyone talking. And this morning, Kumail Nanjiani is center stage on GMA Live.
I have some notes.
Plus, give thanks with Miss Patti LaBelle.
It's going to be great, Robin.
This morning on ABC's Good Morning America.
Weekdays at 5, 6, and 10 p.m. with Chief Meteorologist Chase Menendez.
Well, of course, the holiday shopping season is ramping up this week, and the Toy Insider helps parents and gift givers score the hottest toys for every kid on their list without breaking the bank.
Our Kristen Goodwin has the full lineup.
The Toy Insider has curated the hottest toys that will be on every kid's wish list this Christmas. But with inflation and everyone coming out of the pandemic economy, they know people will be shopping on a budget.
Although we are recommending that consumers prepare to spend at least 15% more on toys, we have plenty of options on all of our lists that are under $50 or under $100.
The Hot 20 list includes something for kids of all ages.
Starting with our littlest ones with the VTech Level Up gaming chair, which provides role play and educational entertainment, as well as the Ruckus FX, which it gets kids up and active in gaming and music mixing. Plus, we have things that are inspired by influencers and kids' favorite characters, like the Addison Rae musical fashion doll.
The 12 under 20 provides plenty of options, all under $20.
You'll find collectibles like Kittens vs. Gherkins, which are mini versions of kids' favorite Cats vs. Pickles characters. You'll find cool things like the Express My Feelings journal from Hand to Mind, which lets kids really engage in that social emotional learning and learn how to cope with their own emotions. And you'll also see things like Playfoam Naturals from Educational Insight, which is a really fun tactile compound that's also eco-friendly.
And kids can learn as they play with toys from the STEM 10 list.
They can do this through activity kits like Crayola's Critter Creator, which allows them to make their own fossils in this kit and get really creative. They can do this through building up their own blasters, like the Ultra Bionic Blaster from Thames and Cosmos. And they can also create and learn how marble runs work with sets like Trestle Tracks from Fat Brain Toys.
Don't you miss how excited you would get for some of those toys?
And for my parents, I think they miss it even more because the gifts were so much cheaper. You know, you could get me a $10 doll, and I was
easier
like,
to buy too.
Over the moon.
You just go down the toy aisle.
Yeah, exactly.
But when it comes to the holidays, people are worried about having enough money to pay for gifts and how much more things will cost in December compared to now.
Yeah, so what should you buy now? Our Kristen Joyce sat down with a consumer savings expert who's weighing in on this morning.
A recent poll shows 55% of shoppers plan to start shopping for Christmas by the end of this month. Retailers are responding by offering sales with the goal to get you to spend more than you really want. Consumer savings expert Andrea Warrock says shop strategically so you don't overspend and get into debt.
Just because something is on sale doesn't mean you should buy it. And if you do start shopping early in October, it's kind of easy to lose track of what you bought or how much you spent.
If you do start early, you can keep track of your budget, gifts, and spending with an app like Santa's Bag. It lets you set a budget for different people, share with friends and family. Warrock says some of the best things to buy early would be hot holiday toys.
Anything that you know that kids are going crazy for, maybe those LOL surprise dolls, Barbie Dream House, Star Wars special edition toys. I mean, there are so many things out there that are popular, the Nintendo Switch, the PS5, those things that are likely to sell out. If it's on sale now, there's no reason to wait. Buy it because chances are inventory could drop later, and chances are it won't be a better price over Black Friday.
When it comes to things like holiday decor, you'll find better deals in December, so hold off. Winter apparel tends to be cheaper right before Christmas and right after. If you want to buy it as a gift, wait for the last 2 weeks leading up to the holiday. If it's not a gift, and you can wait it out right after. When it comes to electronics like mobile phones, big screen TVs, Warrock says wait, as they tend to be best priced during Black Friday deals and or Cyber Monday.
A lot of retailers are also offering extra wiggle room in their price adjustment policies this season.
Like Target, who says if you buy anything between October 6th and December 24th that goes on sale, they'll offer a price adjustment. And major stores across the U.S. have announced they will be taking Thanksgiving off this year. Macy's is among the stores that will be closed tomorrow for, quote, family and friends to spend time with loved ones in their own way. Kohl's, Walmart, JCPenney, Target, and Best Buy are also keeping their doors closed tomorrow as well.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I think it's a nice trend that a lot of these stores have started. Next at 5:30, with the cooler weather moving into Texas, what are state leaders doing to keep roads safe? We'll explain.
And you're taking a live look at Washington, D.C. this morning, where lawmakers are still working on a deal to avoid a rail strike. We have the latest on the discussion.
And it's another foggy morning out there, but this time much milder. High 30s, 40s, and lower 50s to start, warming up in the 60s and 70s for many today, with a little bit more in the way of sunshine by this afternoon. But I'll be tracking slightly more clouds back on the increase for Thanksgiving Day with lower temperatures.
Weekdays at 5, 6, and 10 p.m. with Chief Meteorologist Chase Menendez.
In today's Tech Bites, another major corporation announces layoffs. Hewlett-Packard is now cutting as many as 6,000 jobs. The news comes as the PC maker said quarterly sales fell 11%. The move follows cuts by Facebook, Google, and Twitter. And tax filing websites have reportedly been sending users' information to Facebook parent company Meta in order to target advertising. An investigation found the data came from H&R Block, TaxAct, and TaxSlayer. But a statement by one of the companies says the information may have been sent by mistake. Finally, get ready to tee it up if you play on Nintendo Switch Sports. Golf wasn't included when Switch Sports debuted back in the spring, but it is being added through a free update next week. We're told it will include 21 holes for all you golf fans. Those are your Tech Bites. I'm Rhiannon Alley. Have a great day.
This year, take the time to melt into your holiday moments with Lindor. Irresistibly smooth chocolate from the Lindt Master Chocolatier.
My most important kitchen tool? My brain. So I choose Nariva Plus. Unlike some others, Nariva Plus is a multitasker supporting 6 key indicators of brain health to help keep me sharp. Nariva, think bigger.
What's the #1 retinol brand used most by dermatologists? It's Neutrogena. Rapid wrinkle repair smooths the look of fine lines in 1 week, deep wrinkles in 4. So you can kiss wrinkles goodbye. Neutrogena.
You're watching Good Morning Basin on ABC Big 2.
Now at 5:30, several are dead after police say a shooter opened fire on employees in the break room of a Walmart. What we know so far this morning.
Plus, the mystery continues after the death of 4 college students. We're taking a look back at their lives this morning.
And we're taking another live look at Washington, D.C. this morning, where lawmakers are returning from a trip to the border. We get an up-close look at some of the issues discussed.
And now for your ABC Big 2 weather right now.
Well, first, we're going to check in with meteorologist Ryan DePhillips on this, what is it, Wednesday? Wednesday morning. I'm all confused this week with the holidays.
I know.
One day to Thanksgiving.
Yes, the day before Thanksgiving. We've seen the fog all week, and it looks like we're still seeing it this morning.
Yeah, Ryan, what's been causing all of this?
Yeah, just a lot of light winds, dry air, believe it or not, in the upper levels of the atmosphere. Now, the big difference between this morning and yesterday morning is it's much milder. So despite, it's foggy, make sure you guys travel slowly. This is a live look at Odessa, by the way. It's much milder, temperatures in the 40s. This is a difference from a couple mornings ago, taking a look at what we saw at the National Weather Service in Midland, thanks to meteorologist Matt Salerno, who sent this in from the National Weather Service in Midland. This is the National Weather Service radar in Midland, where we get the, that's our radar. That's where we get the temperature observations, the weather observations. You can barely see that, and from his vantage point, that was within 100 yards of, again, that radar. So really foggy stuff, freezing fog we saw, again, a couple mornings ago. Now, we are going to be seeing a little bit more in the way of clear skies later today as southwesterly winds start to take hold. But I'll be tracking and changing those winds with cooler weather arriving back in the basin just in time for Thanksgiving. Back to you guys.
5:34 on your Wednesday morning. You're taking a live look at I-20 and JBS Parkway, and we can barely see the roads out there. So a reminder, guys, to be careful. You can see that visibility is kind of blocked. Based on the lights, though, it looks like traffic is still light this morning. Now, TxDOT says it's ready for winter weather if and when it hits. The department says it's kept stockpiles of magnesium chloride, which helps de-ice roads. They've also got a hefty pile of rock salt for traction. The winter storms we've seen over the last couple of years have certainly tested the department, and they say they've learned from it.
After each event, we look at our best practices to see that what we've done right and we can improve upon. Within recent years, what we've done is increase our brining. We've become very aggressive with that. The pre-treating of the roadways, we found that's very effective. So that's something we're really engaging in, especially the last 2 or 3 seasons. And also we've added additional plows to our district, especially in the Tarrant County area.
He also says there are things you as a driver can do to prepare for the winter season. Get your car tuned up before the weather gets bad. That includes getting your tires fixed and checking your battery and brakes. Get an ice scraper as well, and also put together a little kit of supplies in your vehicle.
Developing now on ABC Big 2 News.
Developing now at 5:30, multiple people are dead and in the hospital after a shooting at a Walmart in Chesapeake, Virginia late last night. Officers responded to the store less than an hour before closing and found the victims and evidence of a shooting.
So we go inside, and long story short, over the course of the next 30-45 minutes, we were able to find multiple fatalities and multiple injured parties. With the Chesapeake Fire Department, we were able to put rescue and tactical teams together to go inside to provide life-saving measures rapidly and quickly. And then through the course of the investigation, we believe it was a single shooter, and we believe that shooter is deceased at this time. Officers are still on scene right now, combing through the building just to be sure. But as of right now, we believe it's only one shooter, and we believe that one shooter is deceased right now.
Investigators believe the shooter was an employee or former employee of the store who opened fire on other employees in a break room. It is believed the shooter at some point turned the gun on himself. Stay with ABC Big 2 News. We will continue to keep you updated as the story develops. Now to an update on the 4 University of Idaho students who were found dead earlier this week. The 4 were stabbed to death in their sleep.
Right now, there is no suspect in the case. Our Robert Sherman looks at the lives of the 4 students.
The home just off the University of Idaho campus, where 4 college students were slain November 13th, remains quiet, save for the investigators occasionally coming and going.
Murphy, you've been a bad boy!
But just weeks ago, the home was filled with boisterous laughter. The 5 roommates taking turns impersonating one another and posting the videos to TikTok.
Did anybody do their chores today? Who's gonna do it?
That's 21-year-old Kaylee Gonsalves of Rathdrum, Idaho, a senior general studies major on the brink of graduating. Her sister told News Nation she was full of life.
The most important thing to know about Kaylee is she was a go-getter and she was an absolute fighter. And I want people to take this personally because she was everyone's daughter.
Does everyone do like a wine night? Like, let's just do a wine night.
21-year-old Madison Mogan was a senior marketing major from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, close friends with the Gonsalves family. She even appeared in Kaylee's older sister's wedding. The two were described as twins.
You look so cute. Get out of here. You seriously gotta get out of here.
20-year-old Zana Kernodle of Post Falls, Idaho, was a junior studying marketing. She was the 3rd roommate killed, who was described as being positive and funny. She had invited her boyfriend, 20-year-old Ethan Chapin of Mount Vernon, Washington, to spend the night. He was just a freshman and the only non-resident of the house murdered that evening. The eldest triplet and the family comedian, a major in recreation, sport, and tourism management. His mother breaking down in tears outside her son's funeral Monday afternoon.
Today we're here to honor the life and legacy of our son and brother, Ethan Chapin, one of the most incredible people you'll ever know.
All 4 of them dear friends, and all 4 of them gone too soon.
Absolutely devastating. Now, we are expecting to get a new update on the investigation later today.
But the message we've been getting from police is that if they get a big break in this case, it's going to come from the public. Now to the shooting at the Colorado Springs nightclub where 5 people were killed. Dozens are still in the hospital. This morning we're continuing to hear from the survivors.
It's been a process of kind of wrapping your head around what happened, and that what happened was reality and not a fever dream. It's just surreal to think that like this happened at a place that we were calling our home bar, you know, like a place that was local and tight-knit.
Right now it's not clear if the nightclub will reopen. Police do have a suspect in custody this morning.
Republican Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy and a delegation of Republicans were in El Paso to tour the border and meet with Border Patrol agents. McCarthy says addressing the border is his top priority when Republicans take the majority in the House this January.
ABC Big 2's Anna Warnicki is in Washington with more.
We have lost operational control of our southern border.
In a trip to El Paso, Texas on Tuesday, House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy vowed to hold the people he blames for the border crisis responsible.
Just last week, Secretary Mayorkas testified under oath that yes, the border is secure. I'm here to tell you it is not.
McCarthy says the Biden administration is failing and called on Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas to resign immediately.
If Secretary Mayorkas does not resign, House Republicans will investigate every order, every action, and every failure. Will determine whether we can begin impeachment inquiry.
McCarthy says when Republicans take control of the House in January, he plans to physically move the congressional hearings from Washington to the border.
I urge the Biden administration, please work with the House Republican leadership to secure this border because lives are on the line.
But White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre fired back, calling McCarthy's trip a political stunt.
He goes down there and he does a political stunt, like many Republicans do, that we have seen them do, but he actually is not putting forth a plan.
In Washington, I'm Anna Warnicki.
Now, Customs and Border Patrol says in October alone there were 300 encounters per day.
Yeah, the department says, though, that's a sharp drop from 1,100 a day in September. Well, the threat of a freight railroad strike is gaining steam as negotiators and unions have yet to find a compromise. With just weeks until the proposed strike date, the White House and Congress are watching closely. The strike could cost the U.S. economy $2 billion a day.
It's something totally different when you think about the number of products that go on rail, including liquid natural gas and things like chlorine that help with all of our water supplies. This is a national security issue, not just a Christmas gift issue.
They should come to the table in good faith and get this done. Get this done on behalf of the American people.
Now, if one union decides to strike in December, all 12 rail labor unions will join. It's been 30 years since the last rail strike, and for that one, Congress got involved after 2 days.
Dr. Anthony Fauci took the podium for the last time last night as the White House's chief medical advisor. Fauci told the room of reporters he's proud of his decades of work in medicine.
I think what I've accomplished in my 54 years at the NIH and my 38 years as the director of NIAID, although COVID is really, really very important, it is a fragment of the total 40 years that I've been doing it. So I'll let other people judge the value or not of my accomplishments. But what I would like people to remember about what I've done is that every day for all of those years, I've given it everything that I have, and I've never left anything on the field. So if they want to remember me, whether they judge rightly or wrongly what I've done, I gave it all I got for many decades.
Earlier this year, the 81-year-old announced he would be leaving his position in hopes to, quote, pursue the next chapter of my career. And you can read more of today's top stories right now on yourbasin.com.
Also, stay with ABC Big 2 News for all the latest updates.
Coming up, the Dallas Cowboys coming off a big win last week, and now they turn around 4 days later to play a division rival on Thanksgiving Day. We sat down with the team insider on what he expects ahead of this matchup.
And it's a foggy morning out there, but this time much milder visibility as low as near a quarter of a mile in Pecos and Wink. A little bit higher visibility in Midland and Odessa. Make sure you guys are slow on those roadways this morning, but I'll be tracking sunnier and milder temperatures this afternoon.
Remarkable woman.
Remarkable stories from across the country.
I want to inspire women.
We recognized extraordinary efforts, celebrated incredible accomplishments.
There is one finalist from each region, and those compete for the title of Remarkable Women.
See who will take home this year's title and be honored in Hollywood.
Please go to yourbasin.com/remarkable women and nominate a tireless changemaker in your community. ABC Big 2 and Occasions Fine Jewelry celebrate all the remarkable women in our lives.
Shop huge Black Friday savings this Wednesday only at Ashley Home Store. From 10 a.m. to midnight, save 30% off with no minimum purchase. That's 30% off store-wide. Wednesday only, 10 a.m. to midnight at Ashley Home Store.
Surprise! It's a new Buick.
You got me a new Buick?
Oh, and there are more gifts inside.
You got me the head-up display.
Heated steering wheel, the massaging seat.
Okay, what next? Alexa, turn on holiday lights.
This year, give the gift of technology in every Buick SUV.
Get 3.99% APR for 72 months and no monthly payments until 2023 on these Buick SUV models. Visit your Permian Basin Buick dealer.
This is Todd. And this is Sarah.
She's leaving for Paris.
But this isn't your classic holiday rom-com. It's a Nissan Avantage.
Seriously?
Featuring the Nissan Rogue. And more standard power than a CR-V.
This is a love emergency.
Don't let true love or these offers get away.
Make no payments until February 2023 on Rogue.
Ashley Home Store's Black Friday is here. Doors open Friday at 7 a.m. Shop amazing doorbusters at 50% off. Plus, starting at 7 a.m., get free $200 Ashley cash. 7 a.m. to midnight Friday at Ashley Home Store.
Your local weather authority forecast.
Another foggy morning out there, but this time much milder compared to yesterday morning. A live look at the Tall City this morning, we do notice that visibility is dropping compared to what we have been seeing even about 15-20 minutes ago. We could barely see the Bank of America Tower there. The milkiness in the sky, even though it's still dark out there, indicates a lot of moisture in the atmosphere. Believe it or not, in the upper levels of the atmosphere, it's very dry, and we're seeing light winds for the most part, and that's what's causing the fog. Now, we're not seeing freezing fog this morning because, yeah, it's much milder. Current temperature of 46 degrees in the Tall City, but we're seeing slightly stronger winds enough to not see that fog quite at the ground like what we saw yesterday morning and the morning before. And we're not just seeing that fog, we're seeing clouds approaching from the southwest towards the north and east. Higher level clouds, but thick clouds at that. We do notice moisture from the Gulf of Mexico feeding into Dallas-Fort Worth. Some of that's going into closer the eastern part of our viewing area. Now, despite it being, again, some rain in the eastern part of Texas, we're not seeing that despite these clouds moving on through, and despite the humid conditions moving through the Midland and Odessa area. Again, we're seeing that also in the lower levels of the atmosphere. But as soon as that fog forms this morning, it is going to start to dry out and as a result really warm up. So it is a milder morning. Temperatures a bit above normal this morning in the 40s, higher 30s in some areas. But as the skies begin to clear out from southwest to northeast, we are going to be seeing a big warm up in a big way across the basin. Currently 46 in the Tall City, as I mentioned, right around the 47-degree mark for your morning commute. If you guys are traveling to work this morning, or even if you're staying home, if you're stepping outside, make sure you guys are, again, very careful out there, very low visibility. But we are going to be warming up and drying out, high 50s and lower 60s by noon. As we head into the afternoon, look at this. High temperatures in the mid to upper 60s with more sunshine than clouds. Very mild for this time of year. Now, as we head into the evening hours, it will start to cool off a little bit with still clear skies out there. 46 right now in the Tall City, so initial conditions on this month look pretty well. Mid to upper 30s in New Mexico. And yeah, we're even seeing some lower 50s just south and east of the Midland and Odessa area. Widespread 60s this afternoon, lower 70s in the Trans-Pecos, and also the Rio Grande before. Look at this. cooler colors spill their way into the Trans-Pecos and into the Midland and Odessa area. Now we do notice behind me in the eastern part of the basin, not quite as chilly overnight into tomorrow morning. That's because that cold front won't quite make its way through until later tonight and into tomorrow morning. And just in time for Thanksgiving, we're likely to see much lower temperatures compared to today. Back to below normal temperatures. High temperature 56, low temperature in the morning at 39 degrees. A breezy day and yeah, a pretty chilly day. Spelling just enough cool air for maybe some winter weather in the form of rain and wet snow on Friday, but milder and drier by this weekend.
Thanks, Ryan. 5:49 on your Wednesday morning, taking a live look at Loop 250 and Midland Drive. A decent amount of cars out there on the roadway in some pretty foggy conditions, but if you're heading out that way, traffic is moving along nicely.
And now,
all right, I'm
your
joined today
ABC
here by
Big Two
Dallas Cowboys
Sports.
insider Mickey Spagnola. Mickey, happy Thanksgiving, and thank you so much for being with us.
I wouldn't have missed you guys.
Well, Mickey, it's almost like you know what you're talking about. You've been saying it for weeks. The key to the Cowboys game is their run defense, and boy, did that hold true against Minnesota this past week. Did you expect it to be that big of a blowout?
Well, I think what happened was not only did the Cowboys do a decent job against the run, you know, it wasn't great, but it was good enough. But when the offense is able to score points like that, and take a lead, it takes the opponent out of their game plan, because I'm sure the Vikings thought, oh, we're just going to run the ball, right? Just going to hand it off to Delvin Cook, and we'll go about our business. Well, when you start falling behind like that, you got to do something different. And they got out of their run game. They had to throw the ball, and you saw what happened when teams get one-dimensional against that Cowboy defense. They can unleash that pass rush. Had 7 sacks of Kirk Cousins. They had 13 quarterback hits, 8 tackles for losses, and when your defense is playing like that, it sure makes the game a whole heck of a lot easier. So again, stopping the run enough, and then score some points and get that pass rush going.
Well, now we have a historic Thanksgiving Day slate, the first time in nearly a decade that we have 5 teams with a winning record, 2 of those being the Giants and the Cowboys, both with 7-3 records. This Thanksgiving Day game for the Cowboys this year has serious playoff implications. How do you see it going for Dallas this week?
Yeah, absolutely, because if the Cowboys can win this game, they'll be a game ahead of the Giants, but actually 2 games ahead when it comes to the tiebreaker, since they beat them the first time also. So, and not only that, but look, there's a lot of games left to play, so there's no one handing the NFC East title just yet to the Eagles, who, by the way, have had a couple, tough games these last couple of weeks. So keeping on their heels, even though it's 2 games back, you've got to play them one more time. I think that'll make that even more interesting. So the Cowboys just have to understand that, okay, they went and wiped out the Vikings. That doesn't hold any water going to the next week, or I should say 4 days later, to play on Thanksgiving. They've got to work now on sustaining success after you've had some success.
Well, that's right, a big one, and we thank you so much for being with us as always, and happy Thanksgiving one more time.
Same to you. Take care.
All righty, guys, that's a look at sports. Back over to you.
Coming up on Good Morning Basin, speaking of the Dallas Cowboys, Thanksgiving is almost here, and it takes a lot to feed them. We get a look at what exactly goes into that when we come back.
This is a dream come true for me. I dreamed of having my own show since I was a little girl. I was born in Los Angeles, raised in a really tiny town outside of Sacramento. I've worked all over the country in various cities, and one thing I've noticed that everybody has in common, they all want to feel better. My personal purpose is to have conversations that bring us back together. I want to be able to give voice to your story. We are a quilt of different stories, and those stories are going to be knit together in Morning in America.
Some call it flyover land, some the country. But for us, it's home. It's special and unique, full of stories and characters bigger than Texas. This is the Permian Basin, and we're Permian proud. Visit PermianProud.com for local news, stories, and events for and from our community. Sponsored by Chevron.
Midland Community Theatre presents A Christmas Carol, the beloved holiday story of Ebenezer Scrooge and the spirits of Christmas past, present and future, who reignite the good within him. Join us for this Christmas classic and be the first to enjoy our new state-of-the-art 1,600 square foot LED video wall. November 25th through December 17th, Fridays and Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. Visit mctmidland.org or call 432-570-4111 for tickets.
I have something for you.
I have something for you too.
Or get 3.9% APR financing for 72 months and no monthly payments until 2023 on select Sierra light duty models. Weekdays at 5, 6, and 10 p.m. with Chief Meteorologist Chase Menendez.
It's a milder morning out there, but a foggy morning at that. But as we do see more sunshine later today, temperatures will rise into the 60s in some areas in the basin near the Trans-Pecos and also the Rio Grande in the lower 70s. So temperatures at or slightly above normal for this time of year. But a cold front arrives just in time for overnight tonight and into Thanksgiving Day itself. 50s for many locations, lower 60s in the Trans-Pecos and Rio Grande. The chillier weather will be a pivotal factor for our storm system. On Friday, we got to watch out for rain and, maybe some wet snow in parts of the basin. Some very wet snow accumulations are possible. Still a little bit of uncertainty in the forecast, but we'll keep you updated before milder and drier weather returns this weekend. And make sure you guys stay weather alert by downloading the Your Basin app.
Well, the Dallas Cowboys also need to eat on Thanksgiving, of course.
Yes.
Everybody does.
Yes, and especially after a game like that, you probably eat a lot. Our Scoot Jefferson shows us just how much work goes into making a meal big enough to feed the entire team.
This is one of the busiest kitchens ever in North Texas right now. The chefs and staff at AT&T Stadium are preparing holiday favors for Cowboys fans. The culinary playbook for the Cowboys Thanksgiving Day game must be followed perfectly.
We don't cut the corners. We make sure that everything is nice and fresh.
Chef Heather Fuller and her 2,000-plus member culinary team start food preps several days ahead of Thanksgiving. Just like on the field, it's all teamwork. Each team member has their own assignment, whether it's preparing the salad bowls with locally grown veggies to cooking perfectly fried chicken, to even tasting certain items like the homemade gravy.
You have to. So we are tasting several times throughout each batch.
Not only is the number of kitchen staff impressive, but so is the amount of food. That includes cooking more than 4,700 pounds of cornbread for dressing, 11,700 pounds of turkey, and more than 10,000 pounds of mac and cheese, a popular dish which has a recipe so secret, revealing it could cost Chef Heather everything.
I value my job. I don't want to lose it, so I can't give out the secret recipe, but it's something that I know that we're working on possibly putting into retail.
In the pastry kitchen, the dessert team makes sure their work looks as good as it tastes. Details are put into every dessert cup, custom decorated cake, and every pie baked in their massive oven.
We all love to see people's reactions when they eat our food, but for some reason Thanksgiving is just a little bit more special.
In Arlington, I'm Scoop Jefferson.
No shocker, they will be spoiled on Thanksgiving.
No, some good food there, too.
Yeah, and you could watch the Cowboys playing on Thanksgiving, of course, as well.
And you can read more holiday headlines right now on yourbasin.com.
Next at 6, a warning for you if you're traveling out of MAF. Why airport staff say to arrive 2 hours early for your flight.
Plus, there's a new proposition to only keep one pilot on commercial flights. We'll tell you where the idea stands this morning.
Are you okay?